All ideas are mental concepts which are really mental images reflected or formed in the mirror of our mind. They are called ditti in Pali, ideas. But reality, they should be called micchaditti, meaning false ideas, because all ideas are called mental images look real, but actually they are not real. As I mentioned earlier, they are only reflections in our mind called mental mirror. It is the idea of I called Asmimana that forms the nucleus of our thinking process. In fact, the concept of I or the idea of I is the nucleus of our mental magnetism. Which says, I like, I dislike, I know, I don't know, and etc. All are ideas. I know or I do not know. I like or I dislike. They are ideas. These ideas are based on that false concept called I, because in reality there is no permanent entity that can be called I, because everything as well as every being is in constant transformation. Even within ourselves, within our body and mind, there are no things, permanent things, except a motion that is called samsara in Pali. Everything is in motion. Everything is a motion of vibrations. Vibrations are formed by waves. That is why the scientists call thought waves, light waves, sound waves, etc. They are vibrations. They are vibrations in our own mind. All mental images are formed by vibrations. And they are illusory because they look real but actually not real. And these ideas are formed by the concept of I. I know, I do not know, I like, I dislike, etc. These ideas. What happened at the Enlightenment is the explosion of the nucleus of mental magnetism in us. The nucleus of mental magnetism in us is the concept of I, which is an illusion. Realized at the Enlightenment as an illusion. Thereafter, we become part and parcel of the entire nature, which is dynamic, which is in constant transformation, which has no permanent form or identity. These are the triple nature of the universe, called anicca, dukkha, anatta. Anicca is the dynamism, universal dynamism, which is recognized as universal energy. Dynamism means a constant transformation. It is this constant transformation that is called dukkha. Because the thoughts are in constant transformation, no thought can retain a permanent identity. As I mentioned earlier, what we experience as realities are our thoughts. They are illusory because, as I mentioned earlier, they look real, but actually they are not real. It is the realization of this ultimate reality that leads one to enlightenment. Enlightenment means the dawn of light. Dawn of light means, metaphorically, the disappearance of darkness. Darkness is metaphorically the ignorance of the reality of things and beings. We think that we know things and beings, but we know only mental images of things and beings created in our mind. The images, the mental mirror images of our mental mirror called mind. What happened at the enlightenment means the explosion of the nucleus called I in our mental world. And that is referred to in the Buddha's first paean of joy after enlightenment, saying what happened at the enlightenment. The paean of joy says, the paean of joy we find in the Jaravaga Dhampada says, Gakutang Visankita. The magnetic nucleus, Gayakuta means, got exploded at the enlightenment. This magnetic nucleus is nothing but the concept of I, as I mentioned earlier. Yet, the idea of I is a conventional truth, but not the ultimate truth. As I mentioned earlier, there is no reality in our mind and body that can be called permanently I or myself. All are mental concepts made by the electromagnetism in our mind. Thoughts are formed or created by electromagnetic vibrations. They are called Panchupadanakhanda, 5 aggregates of a thought. They are called Upadana. Upadana means magnetic. Upa means towards oneself. Adana means dragging, drawing. That is magnetic attraction. We get attracted to our own ideas, or we repulse our own ideas. Both attraction and repulsions are created as ideas. I like means an idea that can be called attraction. I dislike means an idea that calls I do not like. It is this mental process that got exploded at the Enlightenment, because the thinking process is a manifestation of the concept of I, which says I think, I know, I live, I do. Those are only ideas. But there's nothing that can be called I. Things happen. Things happen by the universal activity or dynamism called universal energy. Energy, we think it is personal, but it is impersonal. It is universal. It is the universal energy that has become creative within us, within both our mind and body. Formation of the body, formation of the thought process are manifestations of the universal, impersonal dynamism called universal energy. And that dynamism is the manifestation of our mental mechanism pervading our entire mental world. According to the Rohitasa Sutta, we know nothing about the world outside us except the world inside us, that is our mental world, created by the information supplied by our sensory organs in our physical body. There is a relationship between our mind and the body. But both the mind and the body are in constant transformation, retaining no permanent entity that can be called I. That concept of I, as I mentioned, is the nucleus of mental mechanism that leads to liking and disliking of things and beings, ultimately leading to a mental process which is defined as Panchupadara Kanda by the Buddha in his very first sermon.